An easy meal plan that is vegan, gluten-free, plant-based, you name it, for a quick overnight trip. So what you're looking at is basically 3 meals that would get you through an entire day. I will start off by saying there's a lot of food here. I would assume that most people, if they're just doing an overnight, would not eat this much. You're looking at probably about 4,200 calories, what's out here. So again, most people probably are not going to go through 4,000 calories on an overnight trip, but depending on your size, depending on the amount of effort it takes you to do miles, depending on the number of miles, temperature, and all that, you'd have to slightly change this to your own needs. So first, everything that's up here is my protein powder. And so what I actually do is I take those together, I put it through the coffee grinder, I blend it, and that's what I would drink in the morning. So I would put some of that into my cold soak container, put some water in there, and then drink it as I go. I'm not someone who wakes up and prepares a breakfast. If you're interested more on this, there's a video that's getting it posted right before or after this one that's just on that protein powder right there. Everything that you're looking at over here would be considered kind of like lunch and dinner. And again, I'm not really big on sitting down and having meals. So everything in this middle row right here would basically be eaten between when I wake up and when I set up camp. And so it's all kind of snacky food. And you can see there's dried bananas and figs and dates, apricots, goji berries, and watermelon seeds. A couple notes about them. If you are interested in trying figs, when I went to the store, they were all out of the normal ones I get, which I don't know the name. I think they're called Turkish figs, and they have a drier more leather-like outside. The Mission figs are very sticky, and so even with the other figs, I find that I can pop a couple in my pocket, and I can just keep them there, or like a small backpacking pocket, maybe like on your strap or something. These are sticky, so they have to stay in the bag, otherwise they get all over everything. And also, I do want to add, watermelon seeds might not be a common thing. Research the nutritional benefits of watermelon seeds, but what I do want to just put out there is a lot of these things, and you'll hear other backpacking video people say it, that you kind of have to find them in maybe like an Asian market. And this is something that I just bought from my Asian market, and when I brought it home, they tasted way too good. And I grabbed a bag without looking at the ingredients, and there's a lot of extra stuff in here that you probably would not normally want to consume. So just again, when you're grabbing stuff from those stores, make sure you look at the list of ingredients. So basically, that's the morning, the protein drink. Those are the snacks throughout the day. And over here, you would have kind of like a dinner. This would also be great for a breakfast. And so it's a cup of oatmeal, some of the amazing grass, some raisins, nutritional yeast, and you can see the rest. Also, what I would normally do is I dry my own food. This is not representative of how much I would bring, but these are 3 things that are coming out of the garden right now that I've been drying. So I would probably throw in a handful of each of these as well. If you don't have a dehydrator, you should consider getting one. I bought mine used for $35. And it's been great so far. If you don't have a dehydrator, if you do have access to kale or beet or collards, these, I forgot which ones in this pile, but if you take a baking pan and you spread them out in the baking pan and you go to work, close your windows, by the time you get out of work, you have dehydrated beet leaves or kale leaves or whatever. So one of those was actually done in my car a couple of days ago. Obviously, you have to live where it's fairly warm, but otherwise, it works out well. It might take you 2 days. It was wicked hot here this week, so mine just took 1 day and they were dry. The nutrition. This is not nutrition. And again, this will be linked in the details to the video, or you can pause it on the video if you want to take a look at it. But that's everything that you're looking at right here. That's some of the nutrition for this plan. Actually, as you can see, it's actually, as of right now, it's 4,300 calories, and that is not including any of the extra things that I tend to throw in. And last but not least, and I do want to just stop here for 1 second. A couple of, more than a couple of people have pointed out in some other videos about the saturated fat that is in some of these meal plans. And the saturated fat is coming from the coconut milk, and obviously it's a plant-based saturated fat. And after reading some of the research, I'm not concerned about having 47 grams on a backpacking trip, especially for someone my size and taking in the number of calories that I do. And especially since it's a plant-based saturated fat, it is, because it's in the coconut milk powder, it is a refined saturated fat. So I don't know if that changes things, but I'm okay doing it once in a while. And speaking of refined things, you can't really see it in the oatmeal. What I have in the oatmeal is I have half regular, like old-fashioned flakes, and then below that I have half of like the quick minute oatmeal. Oatmeal is not oatmeal, and so if you pay attention to like glycemic indexes and how it spikes your blood sugar and stuff like that, the rolled oats does not is kind of better for you. It doesn't spike you as much as the instant oats do, and so I kind of have it mixed in there to get best of both worlds there, a little bit of a spike and a little stability. So there you go. As you can see, it's a lot of dried fruit and carbs during the day. And that's kind of, for me, that's what I'm looking for to power my body as I'm going on from, especially those times from noon until 6 at night. That's what's powering my body. I could take in fat during those hours, but that fat that I'm taking in would not be powering my body to get me to camp. So that's why I relied on the dried fruit. And also it's very easy to kind of just take a couple pieces every once in a while and to constantly, stoke that fire inside of you, instead of sitting down and having a big meal and then hiking, and then sitting down and having a full-fledged big snack and then going and hiking. So there you go. Very customizable. You can swap things in and out, go cheaper, go more expensive. And if you've never had those, I highly recommend you try putting it in there. If you do buy them and just eat them plain, the taste is going to knock you out, but they are excellent mixed in something. All right, thank you very much.